Good morning and welcome to Inside Tennessee. I am one of your moderators, John Becker. We're pleased to have you on this Sunday morning, and we're talking about a law that maybe got more attention than any other this year in the state of Tennessee. We welcome two guests who are intimately familiar with the third grade retention law. Dr. Erin Phillips is Knox County Schools Executive Director of Learning and Literacy. It's nice to have you with us.
Thank you for having me.
And Katherine Bike is Knox County School Board's representative on District 4. Thank you very much for being here. My colleague John North is with me.
Good morning.
We're going to dissect this law and its impact because it's had such a profound effect on young people and parents and teachers and educators across the state. At the beginning of this law, we were looking at perhaps 6 out of every 10, if not 7 out of every 10 third graders in the state may have to repeat third grade. That was the early warning signs. Katherine Bike, let's start with you because you have a personal story. You actually have a third grader. Explain how this law impacted your family.
Sure. Well, you know, I was generally familiar with it because of being on the Knox County Board of Education, and this was one of the things that I first started working on when I got on the board. So I was pretty well aware of it, and but was a bit naive to think that it wouldn't include my son because he does read very well and he reads for fun. We go to the bookstore often. We're very familiar with the library. We do so many extracurricular activities. He has a great support system in nearly every way possible.
He's also been a good student.
Yes, yeah. He's also been a very good student. He's an AB student. He's made at least one A in English language arts, math. He's in the 99th percentile for math. All of his extras, which of course typical for a 9-year-old, music and art, he makes A's in. His behavior grades are pretty good. They're not perfect, but they're pretty good. And so I naively thought that this wouldn't necessarily be for us. So when I was advocating, I thought it would be for other third graders that maybe did have some struggles with reading or did need some supports of some sort. And I thought that retention wasn't the answer, but supports are amazing. Extra supports are even more amazing. And so, of course, when we got our results and I was sitting there, I just couldn't believe it. Not because I think my son is perfect, but because I know he can read and I know that this is wrong, you know. And so his teacher said he must have had an off day or something must have happened. You know, his raw score was pretty close to the cutoff. So, you know, she was like, he should retake. And so it was just kind of really hard to understand that. And then I thought, well, I must have missed something, because as a parent, it's very easy to guilt yourself and say, I missed something, I didn't do enough, I didn't whatever. And then, you know, as I started reaching out to other parents and as things started to build on social media, I started realizing we weren't alone. I wasn't the only parent of a third grader that was an AB student or an A student that was a great student that had also not passed this test. And, you know, that led, I'm definitely an organizer. I've always been an organizer. And so putting people together and just putting these families together, I realized how much more wrong this was to do to kids. And then also hearing my son talk, how he's been talking about himself in such a negative way. And, you know, we've struggled, you know, we've lived through a pandemic, and he was one of the kindergartners, you know, during shutdown, and we tried virtual school. It didn't work for him, and just all these things. And now this was just absolutely devastating.
You are not a fan of this new law. Supporters of it said, listen, we have to draw the line somewhere. We can't have young people graduating high school who don't have skills in reading. And that was happening in Tennessee. We heard this from the House Speaker who was here saying you have to have accountability. We're not asking you to pass judgment on this law, Dr. Phillips, but you are here to give us some perspective about the number of students it's impacting in Knox County in particular. What are the numbers right now?
So currently, after the retake, we have approximately 1,300 students who do not have exemptions from the law that are facing the options of summer school and or tutoring, depending on the category that they scored in, whether they scored below or approaching on either the original retake or the original TCAP or the retake of the TCAP assessment. So approximately 1,300 kids, which is roughly around 35-ish%.
And if I can put that in perspective compared to the, and correct me if I'm wrong, we've had 2 previous summers where we had this similar kind of summer education camp, correct, to sort of catch up. My understanding is that our numbers of rising 4th graders, just finished 3rd graders, is almost double for this summer what it was. Is that another impact of the law and,
Yes,
and
sir.
sort of trying to sort of comply with it?
Yes, sir. This year, we have a significantly larger number of students attending summer camp, most of those students being rising 4th grade students. We did encourage proactive registration for our rising 4th grade students, and we've had several parents of students who reached proficiency choose to leave their students in summer camp this year, and we've allowed that to take place. So we do have a large amount of students, approximately 1,500, give or take, rising 4th grade students attending summer camp this year, which is quite higher than in the past.
And I think it starts tomorrow morning, correct? Monday morning?
It does. Our camp runs from June 5th until June 28th.
Can you clarify sort of what is that going to be like? Is that a shortened school day? Is it a full school day? Will it be all elementary schools in Knox County, for example, or just some?
Yes, we have 29 site locations. Every elementary school will have representation within those campsites. The camp day mirrors the school day, and so we have to have the total number of hours that we have in a regular school day in a camp day. There's also regulations the Tennessee Department of Education has put forth for us to follow in regard to instructional minutes. And so much of the day is dedicated to English language arts instruction and math instruction. There's also an opportunity for intervention. So that is a time period in the day in which students are placed in smaller group sizes to have more targeted instruction to close potential skill deficits or even standards-based deficits they might have present. Additionally, there's requirements for kids to go outside and play and have movement.
I hope so.
Yes, absolutely. We know that movement stimulates brain activity. We have to honor that. These are our students and children. And they'll also have a portion of stream activity that's going on in the day. So it's an opportunity for them to have some integrated learning centered around science, technology, engineering, art, and math. It gives our teachers an opportunity to have planning as well embedded in our summer learning camp.
And Katherine Bike, I know you've been supportive of this. We're going to dive into more of your personal story and then more broadly the impact this is having not just on your family but others. We've got to take a quick break on Inside Tennessee. Back with more of our conversation.